The big question for many Jamaicans is what is really happening with our team? Why are so many of our athletes injured and not showing up and stopping in races? It's just so heartbreaking for the fans and even the casual fan who's just looking on. It's been such a difficult road for the team and the Jamaicans all over just hurting. Hello and welcome to another in our series, Technique Talk, where we talk about the things that nobody wants to talk about. And we're still in the Olympic season. We're talking Olympics, 5 days of competition gone so far. And the big question for many Jamaicans is what is really happening with our team? Why are so many of our athletes injured and not showing up and stopping in races? It's just so heartbreaking for the fans and even the casual fan who's just looking on. It's been such a difficult road for the team and the Jamaicans all over just hurting just from the performances and the expectations and just matching those two. And it's been just really an emotional experience for many persons. And we can just imagine what the athletes are going through, the ones who are unable to report to the start, and the ones who are unable to, after so many months of training and preparation, unable to face the world and showcase what their skills are. And we know what it's like, and we really hurt with them. But it's been an interesting 5 days so far for track and field. And we must celebrate the medals that we've won so far. Big up to Repechage Campbell in the shot put men, who pulled off a huge upset. It has to be an upset. Have to classify it as an upset. Repechage would not have been penciled in. I mean, I didn't have him as a medal prospect going into the Olympics, but that's irrelevant. What we predict is irrelevant to what actually happens. There's no connection between my prediction or anybody else's prediction and what the actual outcome is. There's a difference, of course, between what the athlete's mindset is in terms of what they consider their prospects are and the outcome. But you and I mean, we have no real control over the results. The athletes themselves don't have any control over the results, but the athletes have control over the effort that they put in. And that, of course, is what influenced the results when compared with the other athletes who are also put in their effort. So we didn't have him as a medal prospect, but we're really grateful for Jamaica's first throws medal. It's not just the first shot put medal, but the first throws medal in the Olympics. And we saw on his last throw, he, of course, the tie break, that throw, if he had saved the throw, would have given him the silver medal. But I mean, come on, a bronze medal, we'll take a bronze medal any day at any Olympics in any event. And indeed, Repechage gave us that bronze medal. The other medal, of course, came in the triple jump with Shanika Ricketts, a silver medal, Jamaica's first triple jump medal. And of course, Trisha K. Smith had won the World Championships triple jump. But here it is that Shanika came through and gave us a silver medal. And we are happy. We're so happy. Field events, back-to-back medals on the same evening. That, of course, was well received, and we celebrate. Of course, Jamaica's accustomed to getting sprint medals. On a day like that, we'd gotten a medal in the women's 100 meters. But of course, we didn't get a medal in women's 100 meters, and we know the story there. Tia Clayton finished at the back of the pack. She was the only representative there. But of course, Sasha Lee Forbes didn't make it, and we just didn't get to have that medal that we were hoping for in the women's 100 meters. In the men's 100 meters, we did actually get a medal. Two guys in the finals, Kishane Thompson, who eventually was given a silver medal for finishing second, even though he had the same time. And that's a little bit, for me, maybe some issues there that need some explanation. And of course, a lot of Jamaicans are up in arms about the resolution and the placing, eventual placing. Of course, Oblique Seville was in that race, and he finished at the back of the pack running 991. But the issue with Oblique not oblique, with Kishane and the splitting of the placing. I must disagree with the splitting. When I observe the rules of the sport, I noticed this particular practice that it seemed to be outside of the printed rules that we have, and of course some explanation needs to be given. When the timing system, the photo finish operator, the rules require that the athletes be resolved to the 100th of a second. So the times are supposed to be given to 100, so 00, and that is based on rule 19.23. So times shall be read and recorded from the photo finish images as follows. For all races, it's 19.23.1 says for all races on the track up to and including 10,000 meters, unless the time is an exact 0.01 second, the time shall be converted and recorded to the next longer 0.01 second. So example, 26.17.533 shall be recorded as 26.17.54. All right, so that's how it is. And so it talks about the resolution of the time to the 100th. When it comes to breaking a tie, the tie breaks are only for placings for advancing. So tie breaks are referred to in section 21 of the rules. And section 21 of the rules says for the tie for ranking position, and this is if there's a tie for any ranking position, the chief photo finish judge shall consider the actual times recorded by the athletes to 0.01 second, and if it is equal, it shall be determined to be the tie, and lot shall be drawn to determine the higher ranking position. So this is in the case where you're trying to advance athletes to the next round. So the breaking of the tie to the 1,000 is for the purpose of advancing athletes to the next round. And then the second condition for the tie break is 21.3. It says if after the application of rule 21.1, that is the breaking of the tie there, 21.1 of the technical rules, there is a tie for the last qualifying position based on place. If there are lanes or position available, including the lanes sharing in the 800-meter race, the tying athlete shall be placed in the next round. If that is not practicable, lots shall be drawn to determine which athlete shall be placed in the next round. So again, the tie would be to see who actually gets the lane in the next round. And then the third condition for tie breaks, there's no references for tie breaks for medals. The tie breaks is always for placings to move to the next round. And it says 21.5, it says if there is a tie for the last qualifying position based on time, the chief photo finish judge shall consider the actual times recorded by the athlete to the 1,000.001 second, and if it's equal, it shall be determined to be a tie. And if there are lanes or position available, including lane sharing in 800-meter races, the tying athletes shall be placed in the next round. If that is not practicable, lots shall be drawn to determine which athlete shall be placed in the next round. So the ties have never, in nowhere in the rules, the tie speaks to breaking the placings for medals. And it might sound like we're splitting hairs, but it's not really splitting hairs. And in fact, if there's additional information that should be, that we don't have in terms of the printed rules, then that of course needs to be provided so that this can be understood. But I've always questioned this practice. I noticed in some places that they tend to want to resolve the tie to determine who gets the medal. And I just think for the very spirit of the sport, to tell an athlete that they were beaten 0.04 of a second and therefore they're not going to get the medal, it's crazy. I think the spirit of the sport is not to resolve to that particular point and then not give the athlete the medal. I think we recognize that it actually is a tie because times are recorded to the 100th of a second and not to the 1,000th. So that's what we want to just put out there for the purpose of the 100 meters. But Besides that, I mean, that was some show that was put on in terms of the lights and the turning off of the lights and the show, that movie that seemed to be playing on. And then now we're learning that the delay in starting the race was because somebody actually had invaded the track. Someone from the crowd had invaded the track and they needed time to clear that person. They didn't show it on TV, but apparently that was one of the things that apparently delayed the race, the start of the race. But just think about the emotions and the energy that existed. I mean, I heard where I was watching it, somebody said, "Oh, I can't watch the race, I can't watch the race, I can't watch the race." That fan watching was in such tense moment, and they were so nervous, emotional, that they can't watch a race. And this is a fan, you're not even participating. And you think about the own energy that you had in watching a race. It's so intense. Nerves was just raging through your body, and you're a fan. What do you say about the athlete who's at the start line? For the athlete who's there in that moment, facing your biggest challenges, right next to you, 1.3 meters beside you, you're hearing them, you're feeling their presence, and the stage and the music, and if you're not mentally prepared for this, you won't make it. You won't make it if you're not mentally prepared. If you've not been there visually, if you've not visualized that moment and practiced that often, you're not going to make it. Lyles came out. He was just so energized and just wanting this moment to prove himself. And he thought that this was the stage upon which he's going to deliver and shock the world. And of course, he did that. That requires a huge amount of mental preparation and mental fortitude. And so many of the experts will tell us that the difference in that moment goes to the athlete who is mentally prepared, most mentally prepared for it. So athletes who have the same level of physical fitness, the one who is more mentally prepared gets the advantage. And this, I think, played out in this particular setting. More experience, stronger mental toughness delivered the goods. And there are some examples and lessons that we can learn as you prepare athletes and as you watch a sport and engage in the various activities. This is indeed a lesson. We have to get mentally tough in order to rise to the top and be the best there is. The best requires somebody who's physically and mentally prepared. And that's just one of the reminders that we have from this situation. And I say reminders because it's something that we know. We know and we practice, but this is a reminder to those who aspire to be the best in the world. You can't be the best if you are only physically prepared. So we want to just throw that out there. But so far, quite a bit of action for the Jamaicans. We still have the opportunities for lots of medals, and people are disagreeing, of course, with the withdrawal of athletes from the sprints because of injuries that affect the prospects for the relays. But we should have enough persons in the 4x1 on both male and female side who we could draw on to run the heats and the finals if the team qualifies to the finals. So that shouldn't be much of a headache for us. We saw we're in the 400 meters, Sean Bailey stopping, and DeAndre Watkins not making it through the repechage round. Of course, that would have been continuous disappointment that we have with respect to those athletes not being able to run the 4x4 and help us qualify. Of course, those are still emotions that we're dealing with as well. I have to face it, yeah. We're not in the 4x4, and we figure we could have actually gotten there, but that's another story. But AnnFraserPryce looking very good going into the 400 meters, looking like she can do it for us. The hurdlers are all qualified 400 meter hurdlers. Malik James King, Jail Hyde, and Rashawn Clark look good in their qualifying. Of course, Clayton, Rochelle Clayton looks good as well in the 400 meter hurdles. Our sprint hurdles on the men's side all made it through and looking good for the semifinals. So there's still quite a bit of action and opportunities for the Jamaicans. We're looking forward to a rebounding resilience in the team coming through and really leaving the Olympics knowing that they went and they did what was possible and rose above the circumstances and situation and did well. Of course, we want to big up the coaches who have done so well in preparing these athletes and have brought them to this point where on the world stage, they continue to portray the black, green, and gold in such a wonderful way. While some fans still try to recover from the disappointments of the sprints, hey, we got some medals. We're in the medals in the field events, lots of other action, the long jump men coming up, and also the relays and the sprint hurdles for women. Those are medals events that we expect to get medals from. So we're saying, come on, Team Jamaica, let's go, let's bounce back. Resilient in our team, let's go get it going. And of course, we'll continue to bring you some of our feedback for this Olympics. Continue to stay tuned to our channel, watch and log on, subscribe to our channel, and share the video to others that they can also learn about all the various things and get a different spin to the analysis from the Olympics. Thank you for tuning in to Technique Talk. See you next time.